Hey YouTube, I thought I'd share this with you. I don't have a special channel for flight simulation, but I enjoy flight simulation. I'm a pilot. I use flight simulation primarily for training. So this video is basically about my setup for training. Not necessarily keeping current, because you have to have a certain system for that, but just for training, I think this system is really good. Everything else can be modified and bought and purchased to make things even better, but I will go through what I have here with you, and it's probably the cheapest way you can do this and get a really good system. So let's get into it. First off, the program I use for my instruments is Air Manager from a company called Sim Innovations. They have a whole plethora of gauges and instruments that you can use. They have a device called the Knobster, and the Knobster, basically you illuminate what you want on the screen with the touch screen. This is a touch screen. You can get these at Amazon really cheap. I'll put the links in the description. You illuminate it with your finger, and then you can turn the knob to adjust the setting. If I want to adjust my altimeter setting, I can adjust my altimeter setting. I want to adjust my heading bug, I can adjust my heading bug. Everything is adjustable. The Garmin works perfectly. Everything is adjustable. I can go through the pages and scroll through. So this is far and away better than any of those little instruments that you can buy that you have the little monitor inside of them. And I think it's even better and cheaper than doing the other ones where you actually buy the little Garmin unit. But that's really nice to have if you really want that setup. But I think this is so much more versatile in the way that it works. For the monitor, I just grabbed a big monitor, like a 32-inch monitor. It's not the wide one. Again, this is for training. I never really look out the window anyways. And of course you can add on features, like this has the upgraded maps to show all of Florida. So I fly mostly in Florida. We're landing in the Key West. If you're using an aircraft, you're using ForeFlight. Well, ForeFlight does integrate perfectly with
500
with X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, I guess it's called. Again, I've never upgraded to 2020. We've got to pick up a little altitude here. I'm gonna use the autopilot. We're gonna go down to 200 here. 200 feet per minute descent rate, and we're gonna land in Key West. So while we're landing in Key West, my heading bug's got to turn. As far as your yoke goes, I mean, flying a little yoke like this, it'll get the job done. The one thing about flight simulation is you really don't have much feedback. So it's mainly, for me, it's procedures. That's really what I'm looking at, what my GPS is doing, how I'm interacting with my ForeFlight. I have the instrument set up pretty much just like my airplane that I actually fly. So this works for me. The throttles, I actually, most of the time I'm using just the throttles on the yoke itself. And I have these throttles for when I'm messing around with the twin or a jet. I'll use these throttles. You don't really need that for basic level. So this here is called the Knobster. It's by Sim Innovations. I'll turn the light on here once we land, and we'll go over the actual unit that I built and how to get that for cheap too. So once again, Sim Innovations for your Air Manager. You can make a whole bunch of different layouts. Of course, ForeFlight interacts with the X-Plane, a monitor, and the system that I'm running is from X-Force PCs. He's on the internet. You can find him on YouTube with a lot of informational videos. Very satisfied with the way this runs. It's quiet, it boots up right away. It's really great. This is their basic level one. It's called the Mainstream Flight Simulator system, and I'm really happy with it. If I was into like simming for the purposes of realism and you know, running a lot of monitors or widescreen and getting the best graphics you can possibly get, I'd probably be a Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I'd get even a better system. But for training purposes, this is like so much better than what we had, and this is better than some of the certified PCATDs too, because I mean this Air Manager is really what makes it key. Coming in for a little high here. Let me chop my power and add some flaps. I'm letting all autopilot. Here we go. That's what we're looking at. Let me get my heading here. I want to crash, but oh well. Let me step off the autopilot. Oh. I can't even see. Oh no. There we go. Oh, nose up. All right, one-handed, cross-controlled. Oh, like butter. That's a little fun thing I put on there. All right, so while that settles down, I'll turn on the lights here real quick. All right, so the unit I built was it's called it's like a sign man material. It's aluminum composite material. It's a thin film of aluminum, some PVC type material, and an aluminum on the other side. They make it white, they make it brushed aluminum. I got scraps from the back of a sign shop. This is it here, same stuff. And I also wrapped it with some leftover vehicle wrap that I put on it, on the top and on the sides. I bought some molding from the auto parts store. Boom, there you go with that. I got the table from it was in what's that Swedish place? Oh, let me silence this real quick. Doing it live here, guys. Doing it live. All right, that's good enough. I got the I put the monitor up on a box, like some furniture thing from a desk. Not a big deal. Whatever you can find, guys. A milk crate, whatever. Here's the back of that ACM board. It was a whiteboard that was aluminum, and it was a wood top work table that I got from what's that place? That Swedish place, IKEA. And I hacked it up and I put some supports on the side. Rudder pedals, they're okay. They're getting better as they break in. But like I say, I'm for training mainly, and I know how to fly, so I don't really care. Like, I might not even use rudder during the flight except for on landings. So you don't really need that for training either. It's mostly for instrument training. The yoke is an old Flight Sim CH Products yoke. It does the job. It gets it done. Once again, you got the Amazon cheap touchscreen monitor, a rather inexpensive 32-inch monitor, the Apple iPad running ForeFlight, the X-Force PC mainstream, and I bought some Insignia speakers and a headset. I also use Pilot Edge, which is a great program for California area and Western United States for actually talking with live ATC professionals, and it's unbelievable. The mouse didn't really work real well on this material, so I put some material down here and it works fine. The only other thing I would consider is maybe getting a really small keyboard and mounting that keyboard right here to have quick keyboard shortcuts, boom, 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 right at your fingertips. I put the lights underneath, LED lights underneath there. And the dimensions for this, I picked up, I went to a pilot shop locally and I measured theirs, and I pretty much got my dimensions, and you can get a template online for all this is online, guys. You know how to search for it. That's the easy part. Just trying to save money, and I would just go with a basic monitor, a touchscreen Air Manager for 60 bucks. You might already have ForeFlight. If you get it, you can get a cheap version of it. Put it on your iPhone if you don't have an iPad. There's other ways to save money. These are found dime a dozen on eBay and OfferUp. You really don't need this. You could use it though. It's cool when you get into flying twins and whatnot. And then your keyboard will fit right on your table. So basic setup, but it really is effective. Once again, the key to this is the air manager, and I'm not hired by them or anything to do anything. I just know that, like, I've flown a lot of simulators, and this really is great how it can be manipulated and changed to all different configurations at a flip of a button. Like, I'll go right now, we'll switch over to let's close this panel, and let's go to my bearing, and I'll light it up. Boom. And here comes my bearing. There's my bearing. So then I'll switch my controls to my bearing, and I'll have all my throttles here, my mixtures, my props. I keep the same stack pretty much. I think the stack does work with the bearing pretty well. And there, I'm flying a bearing with a Garmin 530, just like that. If I want to change my stack here, I can close it, and let's close this one, and I'll open up. Let's do this one here. This one will show a 430 and a 530, and then I'll go back to my Beechcraft. So here's Beechcraft with a 430 and a 530. They also have a GNS. I think they have the new GNS ones, touchscreen versions. I think they have that. I'm not sure yet, but I'm sure it's probably out there by now. So that's it. LEDs, a headset you're going to use when you're going to use Pilot Edge. If you use Pilot Edge, so Pilot Edge, X-Plane PC, touchscreen monitor off of Amazon, ForeFlight on your iPhone or your iPad, another monitor, some scraps from the sign shop, and you're all set. Oh, and the Knobster. Knobster's a big plus. It's a little hokey. Sometimes you won't get a response. Like, you'll illuminate it, and then you'll turn it, and it's working. Sometimes it won't, and then you got to simply take it out, plug it in, and it works. So you can do that while you're flying. That happens, once in a while. I can't say it happens a lot, but it does happen. I'm not sure why that does that. They haven't sent any software updates or anything that has made any difference, so it keeps doing that. And it's just like an aviation button. An inner, larger, an outer, and a push button. And you can set multiple push buttons up to operate different things. So that's it, guys. Hope this works for you. Bye-bye.